Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our virtual wine tasting. So this evening, we're going to be focusing on some excellent wines that'll go great on your holiday table or in the hands of those of your loved ones. So I am Sarah. I am a beer and wine manager out in Kerrville, so if you're ever in the area, come say hi. I've been doing this for close to 4 years now with the company 11, and I am joined here with our wonderful Chef Scott.
Oh, I'm so happy you're back. We were talking earlier, and it was like, you've done this before with us, and you killed it. We did it last January, and I can't believe it's already been almost a year since you.
I know. What took so long to get me back?
Crazy. Don't look at me. I'm barely here myself. We want to make sure you know that Sara is out of the Kerrville store. She's going to be guiding us through. I'm so excited. I learned so much in the rehearsals. There's so much information you're going to get out of her. You can know, and Sara, as you'll also know this, those watching on Facebook, don't forget, anything you see, Sara grab and Sara show you. Don't forget, you can always click on that icon. You can purchase it. You can drink along with her. And hopefully, they're popping bottles along with us right now because we're getting into it right now. So I'm excited.
It's going to be amazing. So, without further ado, let's begin. Alrighty, y'all. So first up is going to be our champagne. Not necessarily champagne, but still bubbly. This is our Brumel Blanc de Blanc. Now, not a lot of people know, but Blanc de Blanc means white of whites. So within the bottle, they use 100% white wine. This one is going to be Chardonnay. So.
I like that. I also learned that earlier, and I was like, I've seen Blanc de Blanc. I think when you walk through, and you have now, we were just talking about the square footage that you now manage at HEB. You went from 80-something square feet, now you're like 280.
208. I think I'm the second, the biggest.
It's huge.
I don't know. It's a lot of wine.
So you need to make good friends with Sara at the Kerrville store because she'll definitely steer you in the right direction. But I had no idea that Blanc de Blanc meant it was referring to the grape, that it's only Chardonnay, and I had no idea. It was like, because I've always heard that typical champagne is made sometimes with Pinot Noir.
Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Meunier.
I got that right.
Because we got the yay, Pinot Meunier.
Yes.
We hit it. We remembered. Which is a red grape, which I didn't realize. So tell us a little bit about that.
So for champagne, of course, has to come from Champagne. This is coming still out of France, just not out of that area. And I thought I could trust myself.
I like that technique. Well, you've got the towel on it.
I know, but I can't trust myself now because I'm not that secure in it. But I did it.
What a great sound.
Everything is so much better with bubbles. The sound just starts the celebration. And this brut is going to be great for any kind of appetizer you're going to have on your holiday table. Or really great for mimosas. So
Absolutely.
You can't start drinking unless you start drinking early.
That's right. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That's exactly right, especially around the holidays.
Yeah, because sometimes
but it's a holiday wine. So you talk about, hey, that's good. That's a good sign. It's a good omen. When you overflow it, it's a good omen. Earlier, you told me about sabering. So if I want to get fancy for the holidays, will you talk a little bit about what it means to saber a wine?
So I had the best time savoring a wine, and I honestly thought I was going to make it explode all over me, like I just poured that out everywhere. And so fun fact, you can't have the wine super, super cold and then go out into the heat or room temperature and try to do it that way. It's got to kind of warm up first. If not, then the bottle will explode on you. And you want to try to find a seam within the bottle where the glass fuses together. So you'll take it, have it lined up where the seam is.
So that's where you want to hit it.
And that's where you want to hit it and knock it just right. And it'll spill everywhere.
Does it have to be a saber? Can I use a machete that I have outside? Like what is the acceptable one to use if you're going to saber a wine to be fancy?
I would definitely not recommend your kitchen knife. So there's that.
That's a good note. So don't take your chef's knife outside and try to saber a bottle of champagne in front of your friends.
Because it might just be a bad life choice.
I'm glad you just did that because I've now learned.
So with the brut over here, it's going to be nice and dry with just a hint of some green apple, little green pear notes in there. And, I mean, who doesn't like a good bub?
And it's great for everything, right? Like you said it. So we can also do, it's your appetizer wine. Like you can do just some candied nuts or some cheeses.
Or if you're just going to go all out with it, do it with the scallops, and boy howdy, do they smell just as delicious as they look.
Some seared scallops, it's the way to go.
So
it's a great kind of celebration wine, obviously. The pop, just like you said, kind of
starts everything, gets the festivities going.
It kind of does a whole does a whole thing to start off a celebration. That's how we do it. Popping bottles.
That's all we need to do.
That's right.
So aside from the mess, it's still a great wine.
Sarah, I'm going to err on the side of caution and not savor a wine for the holidays. I'm just going to go ahead and just save myself a trip to the hospital. I'm just going to watch a professional do it and just I'll stay in my lane. That's what I'm going to do.
So, but if you don't want to do it with the scallops or with any sort of appetizer, you want to do it as a dessert, have it with the sea salt almond chocolate.
I love that.
Because you already have that toasted almond flavor in there as well. With this, we'll just emphasize it even more. It's a great kind of dessert wine as well. You don't want to do so much sweet.
This is why you need to make best friends with your wine manager near you. If you don't have a wine manager you're best friends with, then Sarah will happily be your best friend. Just head out to Kerrville and she'll show you. But like you guys use the best adjectives. Like wine managers, wine stewards, wine experts use the best adjectives to describe wine. I think like you just said it, like when the chocolate, so like you've got chocolate and almond. Like there's notes of almond in the wine, it seems weird that you're drinking this almond, but I mean we drink almond milk obviously, but it's just, there's these real subtle flavors in wine that pair well with food.
With the nuances that fall within it.
That's exactly right.
So next up is going to be our Rayburn Chardonnay. And this one makes a wonderful host gift. And it's for that kind of profile that loves the Rombauer. So the really buttery, the buttered toast, that kind of oakiness in there, without having to fork over all of that money. So it's about $16.98 on our shelves retail, but that's our great everyday low price at any H-E-B. And you get some notes of, again, little green apple, some subtle melon, even a little creme brulee. So
I love that. And I love the fact that you just said it, the Rombauer kind of clone. And this is why I think like, I'm the person that comes in and asks like, okay, so I want this $200 bottle of wine, this whatever it is, but I'm like, I don't want to spend the $200. Yeah. Sarah, what is close to this? And then you're the one that goes like this. You're like, you love Rombauer? And it's literally almost a little less, it's a little more than half the price, right?
Yeah.
It's a little like, it's basically
really
half the price
bad.
of Rombauer. But
I mean, it's a good everyday wine drinker if you don't want to fork over all of that money for the buttery, the toasted oak, the bright, vibrant flavors of it, or the beautiful bouquet out of this. So easier on the budget, easier for that bottom line.
Is it weird? My sinuses are very clear today, Sarah, and I can smell the wine from here. When you
over all the scallops and the food?
I mean, and that's a great one. So Chardonnay and a bite of scallop is like the way to go, right? Seafood, Chardonnay.
I'm already imagining it.
I know my mandibles in my, that's a big word, my mandibles in my jaw just tighten a little bit. You get that when you start smelling certain things? The wine and the scallop all together. Seared scallop with a Chardonnay or good whitefish, like just a good seafood.
Or even some turkey. It'll go great with the turkey and all those rich decadent foods that you're going to end up having on your Thanksgiving Day table.
On the Thanksgiving table. Now, if I was going to go chocolate, what kind of chocolate would you go with that wine?
Big if, you have any extra of that almond dark chocolate, I would say that. But we do have, and Scott was already eating it, the toffee chocolate. So that one would go just as good as this because it does have that toasted vanilla in there, that little bit of toffee flavor, just to emphasize it all.
I will say I didn't get a sip of the wine. They would not let me have the wine, but Sarah had to use it for pouring purposes, but I was going to sample it with the toffee. The toffee and the chocolate, would I 100% echo that with that creme brulee. Again, those adjectives, man, I'm telling you. Like those,
toasted
that's the kind
sugar,
of stuff.
just not as sweet. Ugh.
Delicious and also giftable. If you're not cooking for the holidays, so Sarah, if I'm coming over to your house and I'm like, Sarah has made the whole spread, like I bring a gift, I'm gonna bring a couple bottles of wine, like this is what we're gonna do. Like you always gift it, right?
Always, and it's a good little gift. We have all these extra little bits that you can give to your host, but they'll never turn down wine.
That's exactly right. At least I won't.
Yeah, right.
You know, Sarah, I've been drinking wine for a while, which basically makes me an expert, I feel like. And I've not studied it, but so you feel like, I count on you to steer me straight when I make wild claims about wines, being that I'm an expert because I drink it and I have know as much about it.
Well, see, we'll just leave you to the cooking.
And
then you'll, talk to us, banter with us about the wineage.
Done.
It's all good. So this next one is going to be just a little on that pricier side for some, even myself included. It's about a $35 bottle on our shelves, but so worth it. We've got it from our lovely Alon Market HEB. And this one is a highly rated vintage. So Robert Parker gave it a 93, Wine Enthusiast also gave it a 93, and this is coming out of Oregon.
93, so that's an A-. That's still pretty good.
It's still pretty good. It's very good.
I have a hard time grading things for people. That's why I would be terrible at his job, which is why I've tried to apply 3 times. I never get a call back. But because I'd give everybody like just a standard like B+, like low A, and that just wouldn't, I don't think that cuts it for wine folks, right?
So this one is the ideal Thanksgiving Day red. So turkey and Pinot Noir go perfectly together.
I'm as surprised that the color of that Pinot Noir is a little darker. Is it a little darker than most?
It is, and it smells so wonderful. You get the allspice, the nutmeg, the red cherry, the cranberry. I mean,
so it's like the perfect pairing for...
It is the perfect pairing for Thanksgiving. I mean, anything on that table will go wonderfully with this.
And I feel like for Pinot Noirs, aren't they like, I feel like they're usually a little more expensive typically, right? Good ones, because aren't they like a really temperamental...
They're quite finicky.
Yeah.
So it depends on the weather, it depends on the soil, it depends on how much rain they get. If it's not the perfect conditions for growing in, you're not going to yield a very good harvest. And luckily enough, Oregon is going to be similar to that of Burgundy, France. And Burgundy, France is very well known for their Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So this one can definitely hold up against any sort of Burgundy Pinots.
Which is great because I think for when you're looking at, especially the first, as we're heading into the holiday season, this is all about holiday wines. Like the first holiday, obviously, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. So, you know, like something a little heavier than that may overpower your turkey or whatever it is. But this one, you're saying like this is a great, if you're a big red drinker, would complement all that great, the cranberry sauce, the toasted spices, like all that stuff. And
you can even have it with your cherry pie for dessert.
Oh.
It's a very versatile
There you go,
wine.
Sarah.
Yes.
Now we're pairing it.
See, we got to keep it diverse around here because we can't just have it stuck in one box.
That's right. And if you go to see you and you put 6 of those bottles in a wine
Little
carrier,
wine
then you
carrier?
get the 10%, then you get 10% off.
You do. And fun fact, you don't have to get the exact same thing. So if you wanted to stick to our $10 bottle, hey, cool, 5 right there, throw the 1 in, you still get 10% off all of it. So we don't exclude anything.
I'm telling you, it makes it worth it for the holidays. Especially if you've got a lot of in-laws coming over and they like to drink, it's good to fill up those 6
We got
packs.
cousins coming over and they like to drink. Let's face it.
That's
So
right.
that is Rose Rock from Oregon.
I love it.
It is.
Those that are drinking along, hopefully right now, Sarah has poured 3 separate glasses and you should be all the way through each of those 3 glasses and should be either, as you're watching her, maybe seeing double at this point, but don't give up because we still got 1 more to go. So slow yourself down if you're going too fast.
Yeah, more like slow me down. Now, Scott, I got to ask you, what would be on your table for all of this?
You know, in full disclosure, I know people may not like to hear this, but I've never been a big sparkling wine fan, and I don't know why that is. I know it offends Charlotte every time I say it, but I'm like, I can appreciate, like what I love to cook with champagne. I do love the champagne. I use it when I do the turkey. I will typically use a champagne to like make some of the gravy because I think it goes really well with poultry. But I would definitely go, I'm a big Cab fan anytime, and I'm a big Chardonnay fan, and that Rayburn is like right up my alley because I'm like the Rombauer, like, I don't want to.
You don't want to fork over all that just to drink it in one night.
I want the creme brulee. I want every adjective you described. That's what I want in my Chardonnay. So you definitely find some Chardonnay on my table, and then you know.
What about the Pinot? Is it colorful? Is it
No,
big enough for you?
I would go.
It's gonna be just all right for your cab drinking.
Absolutely. I would never discriminate on against any red wine ever. I used to love. I think I got so tired of drinking Pinot. I think I just did it. You start on Pinot, like whatever you start with, you tend to like. It's hard to kind of go back, so I've kind of got to go back to it.
Well, fun fact about Pinot, beside it being on the lighter, what did you call it, flabby side?
Flabby. That's a good word, right?
Is
flabby.
it though?
Flabby for Pinot? No, too far.
Too far. But it's a great year-round wine. So if you don't want to drink your Cabernets or your Zinfandels or Merlots during the summertime, you can easily go to a very full body Pinot. So most Pinots are going to be on that lighter side compared to those other wines. But this, during the summertime, chill it down a little bit. You got a really good porch pounder. Just drink it, enjoy the summer sunsets, and you'll be set.
I love that tip, Sarah, because you're absolutely right. Like for the summertime, like something that's not super heavy, because sometimes like cabin that like the heat of July is not like what you're going to go to, but like just like you said, chill it down. You can do it for your barbecues. Like it's a great wine that goes with everything.
Exactly.
Flabby, what a great wine. It's like there's the Pinot Noirs that hit the gym that are like the firm, more structured. There's the ones that are like maybe
Lots
it's your
of
first
tannins,
date.
lots of acid
There's nothing wrong
to
with
it.
that.
It's all
You know
good.
what I mean? It's just not quite there.
I'm going to use that from now on with my customers. So come out
Use
to
it.
Kerrville and I'll use exactly verbatim what he says.
You'll get the same reaction. People just look at you and go, I don't understand what you're saying.
So last but not least is going to be Tableau. Now, fun story behind this wine is that it is a Wagner family wine.
All right, so explain to who is the Wagner family? What are they all about? Give us
So
a history.
Wagner, if you're in the wine industry, you definitely know. If not, they make Camus and Conundrum and Seaside and 1858 and Tableau and used to make Mayomi and all kinds of fun stuff. Amolo, right? That's your favorite Merlot?
Yeah. I can never fork over the money for it, but yes, that is my,
Right.
it's my favorite.
But it is such a well-renowned family for wine. And this one is going to be, as I'm calling it, a baby Camus. So this
baby
is going to be a
Camus.
little bit more geared towards your Christmas table or even a Christmas gift for treat yourself or, you know, loved ones if you really like them that much.
Absolutely. Well, and this is the kind of wine, like, especially for Christmas, because this may be a little too powerful for your Thanksgiving table, but it's still good if you're going to have it at the end of the meal, maybe. You're wrapping up with some chocolate or some cherry pie or whatever.
Ooh, yes, like
But
that pomegranate raspberry chocolate.
There you go.
Oh,
But like your
so
prime
good.
rib, like things like that, like your smoked ham, like, you know, the big...
The steaks that are
like the-
taunting me, people.
the
This
ribeye
and
steak.
that, done. Because
Little
that is
mushroom.
way too good smelling.
Some umami in there, yeah, that good stuff. I like Cabernet as just an appetizer. Like, I feel like it's a great way to warm up. But it's also like,
I
it
can
can be a little
open
big, right? It's a little strong.
Little
But
technical difficulties
does-
on my wine opener.
Are you getting it? Are you doing it?
A little bit.
We'll keep stalling. We'll keep talking. When you talk
situated.
about like the Wagner family, like I think this is where I think that it's so crucial to be such good friends with your wine steward, your wine managers at your local HEB, because there's so many great wines that you may be paying too much money
Double.
for that somebody may be like, oh, did you know this same, you know, crazy, you know, 100-point winemaker makes this wine too. It's a lower tier, just as good a quality, but they also make this, and it's, you know, a quarter of the price. Like those are the kind of stories that like everybody needs to know. Like
Oh,
where are
yeah.
the great deals?
Well,
you know?
this is, as I said, a baby Camus because Camus can run from, you know, 70 to 80 some odd dollars. Don't even get me started on restaurant prices. But this is quite the equivalent for almost half the price, if not a little bit more. Just the same way as Austin Hope is producing some, Dow even, these really reputable wineries are coming out with just as good, if not even better.
Yeah, and you never
for
know.
less.
You'll see that bottle, and it's like, I always kind of judge it by like the heaviness a lot of times. That's probably like a very not good thing to do when you talk about wine. But does that have anything to do with it, the heaviness of the bottle?
So pretty.
Nope.
What? Sorry, I was just watching
You were,
and
no, you were
admiring.
entranced. You know what? I like that because it's a great segue into the decanter you have there, which is like mesmerizing. And a lot of
So-
decanters are expensive, right?
Some can be very expensive. I've seen some, I hate to say it, at Total Wine for almost $500.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous.
For a piece
But
of glass?
crystal,
Oh,
I
well.
think. I don't know. But works just the same, if not better. It even pays for itself in 2 bottles. So, hey, there's that.
Right?
You can find it at any of our HEBs with our new kitchen and table line that we're using. So, really
And it's
pretty.
it's a lot less than $500.
Oh,
Rest
a very
assured.
good less. So, big, bold, robust, rich wine here. You definitely want to let it breathe and let it expand and oxidize to get it to what the winemaker wants.
Sarah, we have a great question. It has to do with the decanter.
Ooh.
How does, if we have a student customer watching right now and they're like, how do I know when to decant a wine? What's the best way to kind of like, are there any like, just give us your best tips on like when and how and what you should decant and when.
So it depends on the actual grape that you're using. Cabernet is the best one to use a decanter with because it is so big, so bold and robust that it needs to have that extra surface area to oxidize to get it to what the winemaker wants you to taste. Now, Pinot Noir, just because the way of the grape, the nature of it, It's a little bit lighter, not as complex. You don't really need to aerate it unless you feel as though it's just too tight. These bigger, richer wines need that extra oxidization in there.
So the way you poured it in, you're kind of like, you're forcing air
it.
kind of into it, which is going to help it kind of soften a little bit or like mellow out.
A little bit, mellow it out. If anything, bring out more nuances within the wine so that you get that full flavor experience.
And you get to use those great adjectives that all wine stewards and managers use, all of our wine experts.
Let's face it, I'd make a candle out of this. It smells so good.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
know.
I love the smell of just like, when you pop open a cork of like just any red wine, the smell of that like dark fruit, oak, like there's just something about that
I mean, look at
smell.
that cork. It's crazy. It's nice and dark and inky. It's just so pretty.
Is that a thing with corks? Like, do you think like when they present those at restaurants, like, I've never, to me, I was like, I don't understand what that whole point is. What's
Showing
the whole?
it? Oh, just so that the
just like
cork's not
show you the-
tainted or, you know, messed up or anything like that to ruin the wine. Because if you use real corks, then there's that chance of wine taint and oxidizing before you really need it to be oxidized, aka before you open it.
Which brings up a great point.
A lot of people are starting to switch to screw tops.
Yes. Will you talk about screw top versus the cork?
So screw top is a little bit more economically friendly and a little bit more versatile for the wines. Now, it does lose the romanticism of popping the cork, unless you're like me and you have to do it 3 times. And it's easier to seal it back up, put it back in your fridge, and let it chill out for another day or so. I would recommend only about a 3-day max, though, for any of these wines. Not necessarily the bubbles, because there goes your carbonation.
Yep. Drink
But
that all
the
in one sitting is
Pinot-
what you're saying.
Challenge accepted, yes.
Heard. You bring up, if you have to have the cork, what I like to do for screw top is you just turn it, and then as everybody's listening, you go,
Just
go,
pretend
oh,
to
look at
make
that,
a
it's
pop.
open.
Hey, we're done.
it's more green. That's the thing. It's more green.
Yes.
We're
And it's a little
saving
bit
cork
cheaper to
trees.
do for the wineries, too, if they're trying to
Exactly.
watch that bottom line.
Look at how that pours.
It's
That's
so
like
pretty.
$14, I think. You can click on the link and you can prove me wrong, but I think it's literally under $20 for a fantastic, beautiful decanter for everyday
So,
use. $500.
With
That
that
still
Tableau.
boggles my mind. I'm having a hard time
You can
swallowing
smell all kinds of black cherry, black plum, a little bit of blueberry in this, and I mean, I'm ready to open up that, cut that steak open and let's go.
that. Yeah, cut it open. Let's
You
do
got
it.
all the richness of the meat right there to pair very well with this Cabernet. As I said, if you take this to your
Mushrooms.
Christmas table, they will not know the difference between Camus and this one. Just
All right, Sarah, now for the $1 million question. So for Thanksgiving, the first holiday coming up, what of these wines, if we're coming over to your house and we're gonna hand out your address, I know you're okay with that, so anybody watching can just show up and we'll do a whole thing for them. What wines are they gonna find on your table of these 4? Like, which ones are you gonna kind of like, how are you gonna transition? What are we gonna find? We wanna know, you're the expert.
All right, so first and foremost, your girl loves the bubbles. So we will be having some bubbles just to start everything off with the appetizers, because let's face
like
it, it's gonna take a while for me to cook everything. Then
like that.
second up, we will have some Rayburn. That's a guarantee because I like some Chardonnay. But hands down, Rose Rock.
That's gonna be the one that's,
Hands down, at least 2 bottles of these because it's that good. And
it depends on how people are showing up. We sent out your address, so just expect more than, I would say, maybe make arrangements
I
with
mean,
the store.
even if nobody shows up, those will be gone.
But that's the one. So you're thinking Pinot Noir for the main dish, Thanksgiving, and then as we transition into
Yes.
the second set of holidays, you get more of the red meat, you're
More the
transitioning our
red
poultry,
richness meat. Oh yeah, the
duck,
Tableau.
mushrooms, all that
And I
rich
mean, you
food.
can't forget, Scott. We can mix and match and do a 6-pack and save 10% off all of them, and pay for a bottle itself.
Exactly.
So
This is great. I love, every time you come, I learn something new. I love the fact that you just have to ask your wine expert at your local HEB, like, hey, I love this kind of wine. Where do I find this at this price? And you're like, hey, get the Rayburn. It's exactly like Rombauer, half the price. Tableau, it's the same winemaker that makes Conundrum, a world-renowned wine.
Exactly.
Like, half the
And
price.
fun fact, the last time we were doing this, we did the Paso Robles Tableau.
I was gonna say, there's 2.
There is 2. So
Okay.
you can try them out. Try the Napa versus the Paso and see which one you like best.
What are the differences between the 2 Tableau, the Paso Robles versus Napa? Like, what are the,
So the 2 different areas with the grapes grown.
Right.
The Tableau, you're gonna have those nice, darker, richer black fruits versus the Paso, which I got a lot of red cherry, a little bit of some oak spice in there as well. A little smoother than the Napa Valley. So I like a little bit more grit.
So
on
not
my
quite
wine.
as much dark fruit, a little more kind of fruit forwardy.
Yeah, a little bit more fruit forward. Just a
approachable.
little lighter drinker than the Napa here.
I like that. This is awesome. I hope you learned a lot. So I hope that you make all kinds of friends with your, especially heading into the holidays. You need to go see Sara at Kerrville. You can give the information in a second. If you want to always go back and rewatch one of the episodes or see Sara, we did this in July or January. What July? What am I talking about? January. It's all running together, Sara.
It's been a long day.
You can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/HEB. Check it all out. Those of you watching on Facebook, don't forget anything you see, you can actually click and purchase. And next week, we have. Well, I'll let you go ahead and announce what we're doing because I jumped the gun on that. I got so excited, Sara.
So he likes to steal my lines, as we found out in rehearsal. Scott, what are y'all going to do next week?
I am going to be nowhere near this class because this is all about holiday tablescape centerpieces and DIY gifts. I'm pretty sure if I was here hosting it or trying to do it, it would all catch on fire. So there's some real experts going to be there. Andy Hopper, are you going to learn some great things from her? Charlotte will be moderating. It's going to be a great class. It is sure to go very, very well because it's being handled by the experts. I will not be there. If you want to find out more about our class, you can always go to hb.com/classes for future classes. All the great stuff coming up. We're not done yet. The year is not done, and we got more content coming at you.
Yeah.
Sara, you are awesome. This has been awesome learning from you. You are fantastic. Take us home.
All right, guys, as you can see, we had a lot to go over. And again, if you have any questions, exit 508, Kerrville, come see me. It'll be great. And thanks for watching with us this evening.